And then what happens? I mean, what happens once you hit the tipping point?
Well, hopefully we get a solution out of this process so that longer term we have a sustainable model. In the intervening period out to at least 2020, we'll have the ability to charge to make up that difference. Right now, that's not our preferred model, but I go back to the point I made earlier. At the end of the day, if the returns aren't there for the services we're providing and the only option is to charge, then that's something that all three of us will have to look at.
We either charge and continue to do what we're doing, or we change what we do. And if we pull back on the services we offer, and not just the way we distribute products, but other services that today are valued in the pharmacy industry, then the pharmacist and the consumer, the patient, will ultimately see a detriment, a negative flowing from that. So we either charge to continue and meet the existing service standards, or we actively pull away from that, and that will have a consequence for patients, pharmacists, and ultimately for government, because something will change.
Is there recognition in government that there is a tip? I mean, they've got the review, they've included you as a key consideration in that review, so they want to have a look. You've provided this analysis, which is obviously very high quality, invested a lot of time and energy in it, so they would appreciate that. But do you think they understand or appreciate that things need to change?
I think to Patrick's point, there was recognition during the 6th CPA process that the issues around the wholesalers weren't dealt with perfectly. Whether they fully understood all the ramifications of it, I'm not quite sure. Maybe that goes to the quality of data we gave them at the time. But what we're trying to use the regulation review process to do is to say, well, okay, so we've heard you on the quality of data and evidence that you need to support what the issues are. I think we clearly feel like we've provided that through the LEK research that's been done. So that should give them the platform to understand the issue. And I think they do recognise that the wholesalers are the practical delivery medicine for the National Medicines Policy, right? At the end of the day, the reason people get timely and efficient access to medicines is because what the full line CSO wholesalers do.
Well, look, I think the structure government has in place up until today has been particularly effective. We have a community service obligation that we are participants in that mandate a very high level of service, and they pay money for that. That's a structure that from a patient point of view guarantees very high access to all of the products on the PBS for those that are made available to the CSO participant. So from a government point of view, they're paying this money. There are participants in it that are delivering against it. It's rigorously audited, so we're held to account. It's not a trivial topic. And until we reached a point where something actually stopped or changed, from a government point of view, we're not politically charged enterprises. We're not, we don't drive votes. We're not, in the same league as others that might appear in front of the department or in front of the minister. And with this CSO in place and the other structures, they've had a fundamentally very, very successful method of getting products, PBS products, to every Australian. So until we reach this point, it does feel a little bit like there's nothing wrong. And now with the opportunity to show more clearly the evidence and to put the projections in a more objective way in front of government, I think to a degree, yes, they have taken us for granted, but in the sense that it's working. So, now is the opportunity to have a look at that again.
Yeah, and what I would say is that the review is timely. It's a good thing for the industry. I think it's always good to challenge the shape and the mechanisms of how the industry works, particularly given that it's a regulated environment. And what it does for us is it provides us with the opportunity to put forward alternatives. So this is not about defending a current position, it's about stating the facts, justifying the current position, and then putting forward a range of alternatives. And that's what we've done collectively, is put forward some options for the Health Department to consider, and of course the panel to consider, and they're in the context of maintaining the National Medicines Policy. So that's always in the back of our mind, is continuity of supply of product, timely supply of all medicines to all pharmacies all across Australia. That's our base. And then it's about how do we do that economically, generate a return from that, and provide the government with some options for them to consider as they move into the next agreement.
It's interesting with public companies when our investors, our current investors, our current shareholders, potential future investors and analysts, there's a lot of people putting scrutiny on our businesses every day. So the remuneration review is a very, very hot topic amongst the investment community generally. The questions we get asked are, will it lead to anything that might improve or damage your business? It is, for us, a topic that comes up every time we talk publicly about our business. Where's the remuneration review going? Does the sixth agreement give you certainty through to 2020, or does this review provide a window for something different to happen? And all of those people, those sophisticated investors, know the importance of drug distribution to our businesses and government regulation impacting our earnings. So that's why we're taking, another reason why we're taking this review so seriously, because the investment community has its eyes on this topic.